Hello everyone, so I am finally here with my review of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This guy gathered quite a lot of hype before the launch and a lot of controversies afterwards. I have been using it for almost a month now and I recently updated it to the latest iOS 17.0.3 update as well, which has fixed the overheating issue. So I think it's the right time to talk about it. First things first, what I want to tell you right away is that if you already own last year's iPhone 14 Pro Max or even the older 13 Pro Max, the iPhone 15 Pro Max does not make any sense upgrading. However, if you're currently using Apple's flagship phone that's more than 3 years old, then this is a fantastic option to consider. Okay, so let me start with the things that I like the most about this guy, and I must say that I am enjoying the overall heft of this year's iPhone 15 Pro Max. One of my few complaints with the iPhone 14 Pro Max was that it was a little too heavy. But thankfully, Apple has fixed that with this year's Pro iPhones by switching from stainless steel to titanium frames. Then again, I'm sure you've seen at least one of the dozen videos that show that this phone gives up pretty easily if you happen to drop it on a concrete surface from a certain height or try to bend it for some reason. Whereas the iPhone 14 Pro Max survives those tests quite easily. So yeah, while these titanium frames have helped make the iPhone 15 Pro Max much lighter as well as harder, its greater degree of elasticity means that the phone itself is more flexible. And the partial use of aluminium has made its drop protection significantly worse too. In any case, it's extremely unlikely that your 15 Pro Max's back panel will break under normal use, but I will recommend you case it up or take an Apple Care protection for better peace of mind. Anyway, the iPhone 15 Pro Max's display on the other hand does not crack that easily. I have dropped my 14 Pro Max multiple times in my 1 year of usage and have it survived with flying colors every single time. And it's also the same with the iPhone 15 Pro series. Plus, the glass back on the iPhone 15 Pro series also cost significantly less this time since Apple has redesigned the frames allowing for easier repairs. Besides all this, the iPhone 15 Pro Max also enjoys a new action button too, but to be honest, I did not use it that often. Maybe if it was placed a little down below, it would have been useful when clicking photos and videos, but there you go. Now, as you can see, I have the phone in this blue color variant, which catches a lot of smudges and fingerprints on the frame. But the natural titanium variant that my friend got has this brushed look that hides the smudges much better. So if that's something you're worried about, I suggest you go with that one. Although I should warn you that even now the iPhone 15 Pro Max is not easy to get in the natural titanium finish, and its delivery date is set for mid-November in many regions. Up front, the display remains the same as the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but I don't mind it that much since this screen is still top-notch. It's the brightest panel I have used on a smartphone. The touch response here is great and it has outstanding color calibration out of the box. Plus, when it comes to iPhone Pro series, I absolutely love the precise and pleasant feedback of the vibration motor, so the typing experience here is excellent this time as well. Their similarity continues in the audio department too, since the iPhone 15 Pro Max has the same speaker system as the iPhone 14 Pro Max. As a result, both of them sound pretty similar with nice loudness and balanced bass, vocals, and treble. Okay, let's talk about the performance now, and I am happy to report to you that after the recent iOS 17.0.3 update, the overheating issue here is completely gone. This is actually one of the reasons why I did not want to push my iPhone 15 Pro Max review much earlier, because Apple didn't quite hit that bullseye in terms of tuning the performance of the all-new A17 Pro chip on day one. But after the update, as you can see from these graphs, the temperatures on my 15 Pro Max are significantly lower, be it while running a stress test or recording high-res videos. I have not faced any screen dimming issue even after an hour of continuous PUBG and Genshin Impact playback either. Everything just runs buttery smooth on the 15 Pro Max now, and needless to say, the A17 Pro should perform well for years to come as well. There's also a reason why this chip is called A17 Pro and not A17 Bionic or something, because according to Apple, it includes the biggest redesign in the history of iPhone GPUs, and there are some really cool features like hardware-based ray tracing and Apple's version of DLSS called Metal FX upscaling to justify its Pro tag. All this is to say that the future of gaming on iPhone just got a whole lot better with the A17 Pro. And I am quite excited to play some of those AAA console titles that are launching later this year exclusively on the iPhone 15 Pro series. It's also going to be quite interesting to see if it actually matches the performance and experience of a handheld console. Besides performance, I'm also getting slightly better battery life here compared to the 14 Pro Max, whereas this new USB-C port has been very useful to me since I no longer have to carry my lightning cable when I'm traveling or going to a retreat with my Android buddies. Now I can just use their chargers to charge my iPhone too. Although as expected, it only works with QC or power delivery certified chargers that you get from brands like Xiaomi, Samsung, Anker, Ugreen, etc. Whereas since the entire BBK group, which includes Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, Realme, etc., uses a proprietary VOOC charging tech, you cannot fast charge your latest iPhone with those chargers. I have got to say though, with the upgrade to USB-C, I was also hoping Apple would upgrade to 30 or 45 watt charging, but the charging speed here is still quite slow as it takes around 1 hour and 50 minutes to fully charge this thing. Besides charging, USB-C has made my life quite easy. I can now connect my iPhone to an external display through a USB to HDMI connector. I can now copy files to my iPhone directly from an SSD using a USB-C cable. So you can tell how convenient that is. Okay, now let me talk about the one thing that I've been using the most on my iPhone 15 Pro Max ever since I got it, and yes, that's the new 5x 120mm Tetra Prism periscope camera. This is a game changer, especially for aspiring photographers. Just look at these portraits that I shot on a photo walk. Although I have to stay more than 1 meter away from the subject, its portraits are just next level as far as smartphone photography is concerned. It tries to mimic the DSLR and mirrorless cameras portraits with excellent background blur and everything. It's just stunning. Similarly, the primary 48 megapixel camera has also been updated this time. It's the same sensor as the one on the 14 Pro Max, but it now clicks 24 megapixel images by default, and I found it to preserve noticeably better details and sharpness. Likewise, the 15 Pro Max's photos have better dynamic range, brighter colors, and the white balance and color processing are inch perfect too. I also noticed that the skin tone from the 1x and 2x portraits is rendered better on the 15 Pro Max as compared to the dark and a little unpleasing output from the iPhone 14 Pro Max. It now processes the shadows better and makes the skin tone even more natural and attractive. During the launch event, Apple also mentioned that with the iPhone 15 Pro, it's like having 7 Pro lenses in your pocket with additional 28mm or 1.2x and 38mm or 1.5x shooting modes that crops from the 24mm 48 megapixel primary lens, but I do not find it to be that useful, honestly. Instead, I was mostly taking the 5x shots every time the opportunity struck, and its output is excellent with colors and dynamic range similar to the primary camera. Another thing I've always admired about iPhone cameras is their video ability, and it still remains my go-to camera phone for videos. So whenever I have to take a selfie video for my Instagram stories, do a live session on Amazon, or go out for a vlog, I always carry an iPhone with me. And this year's iPhone is even better on that front. First, you get a new lens coating on the front as well as the back cameras, which almost completely cuts off the glare while shooting in low light. Secondly, you can now switch between lenses at 4K 60fps too, and since there is literally no color shift across all the lenses, I don't have to do a lot of work in post-production either. So overall, you are going to get a stunning camera experience from the iPhone 15 Pro Max, all thanks to its versatile camera setup that is equally great for photos and videos alike. Yes, I know that it's not that big of an upgrade from the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but that 5x lens for portraits and zoom shots is just amazing tool to have. I am pretty sure a lot of Android phones will now be switching to similar 5x lenses as well. Okay, so that was all for my full 1 month review of the new iPhone 15 Pro Max, and what I can tell is that this is obviously the best iPhone ever made and arguably the best smartphone in the market right now. But like I said in the beginning of the video, if you already own an iPhone 13 Pro Max or the 14 Pro Max for that matter, I don't think you are going to be wowed with everything it has to offer. The 5x portrait camera, the USB-C port, and console level graphics are great to have, but they will not offer you a whole new experience. So you should wait for next year's iPhone 16 Pro Max instead, or whatever it ends up being called, where Apple might bring a more robust, shatter-proof design, make full use of the hardware by striking a deal with other gaming studios to bring more AAA games, and maybe they will also bring an even better zoom camera that matches the S23 Ultra. Who knows? So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari, and I will be back in my next video.